Hello, my name is Paul Marxell. I welcome you to my channel. Once again, we are going to pick up from where we left off at Chapter 2 of Alice in Wonderland. In the meantime, please use the restroom if you need to. Feel free to pause at any time if you feel like you're falling behind. Go ahead and feel free to grab a drink or a snack. Please let me know what you're eating and drinking down below. And feel free to grab your own copy of Alice in Wonderland and follow along. Alice in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll. Chapter 2. The Pool of Tears. How strange. Oh my, said Alice. I'm so tall. And all at once, too. Goodbye, feet. But when she looked down at her feet, they seemed so far away. She thought they would soon be out of sight. Oh, my poor feet. Who'll put on your shoes for you now, dears? I'm sure I can't do it. I'm too far off to take care of you. But even if I can't take care of them, I'll have to be nice to them, thought Alice. Or they won't walk the way I want to go. Let me see. I'll give them a new pair of shoes each Christmas. She stopped to think about how she would send them. They must go through the mail, she thought. And how funny it'll seem to send shoes at one's own feet. How odd the address will look. Alice's right foot, on the rug near the fire, with Alice's love. Oh dear, there's no sense in all that. Just then her head struck the roof of the hall. In fact, she was now almost 3 meters high, and she at once took up the small key and went back to the door. Poor Alice. She was so tall that she could only lay down on one side, to look through the garden with one eye. But she definitely could not get through. So she sat down and had a good cry. Shame on you, said Alice. A great big girl like you. To cry in this way. Stop at once, I tell you. But she still cried and shed tears. So there was a large pool all around her, which reached halfway down the hall. Then she heard the sound of feet not far off. She dried her eyes, and in great haste to see who it was the White Rabbit that had come back, dressed in fine clothes, with a pair of white kid gloves in one hand and a large fan in the other. He trotted in great haste and talked to himself. Oh, the Duchess! The Duchess, she won't be fine in rage if I've made her wait. Alice felt so bad and so in need of help from someone that when the rabbit came near, she said in a low, timid voice, If you please, sir. The rabbit was startled, dropped the white kid gloves and the fan, and ran off into the dark as fast as his 2 hind feet could take him. Alice took up the fan and gloves, and as the hall was quite hot, she found herself all the time as she went on talking. Dear, dear, how strange all things are today. Could I have changed in the night? Let me think. Was I the same when I got up today? Seems to me I didn't quite feel the same. But if I'm not the same one, then who in the world am I? She thought of all the girls she knew that were of her age to see if she could have changed for one of them. I'm sure I'm not Ada, she said, for her hair is in such long curls, and mine doesn't curl at all. And I'm sure I can't be Mabel, for I know all sorts of things, and she knows so little. How strange it all is. I'll try if I know all the things. I used to know. Let me see. 4 times 5 is 12. 4 times 6 is 13. And 4 times 7 is... Oh dear, that's not right. I must have changed for Mabel. Try to sing one of my favorite songs. She placed her hands on her lap as if she were at school and tried to say the lyrics. But her voice was hoarse and strange, and the words did not come out the same as they used to. I'm sure those are not the right words, said poor Alice, and her eyes filled with tears as she went on. I must be Mabel after all, and I'll have to go and live at that stinky house, and have no toys to play with. No, I've made up my mind. If I'm Mabel, I'll stay down here. It'll be no use for them to come put their heads down and say, Come up, dear. I shall look up and say, Who am I then? Tell me that first. And then if I like it, I'll come back up. If not, I'll stay down here till I come up someone else. But oh dear, cried Alice with a fresh burst of tears. I do wish they put their heads down. I'm so tired of this place. As she said this, she looked down at her hands, and she saw that she had put on one of the rabbit's white kid gloves while she was talking. How can I have done that? She thought. I must have grown small once more. She got up and went to the glass stand to test her height, and found she was now not more than 60 centimeters high, and still shrinking quite fast. She soon found that the cause of this was the fan she held, and she dropped it at once, or she might have shrunk to the size of a gnat. Now I can fit in the garden. She ran with all her speed back to the small door. The door was shut, and the key lay on the glass stand. Things are worse than ever, thought the poor child. As she said those words, her foot slipped, and splash! She was up to her chin in salt water. At first she thought she must be in the sea, but she soon made out that she was in a pool of tears which she had wept when she was 3 meters high. I wish I hadn't cried so much, said Alice as she swam around, tried to find her way out. I will now be drowned in my own tears. Then she heard a splash in the pool a little way off. She swam near to make out what it was. At first she thought it must be a whale, but when she thought how small she was, she soon made out that it was a mouse that had slipped into the pond. Would it be of any use to speak to this mouse? All things are so out of the way down here. I should think maybe it can talk. At least there's no harm to try. She said, Oh, mouse, do you know the way out of this pool? The mouse looked at her and seemed to wink with one of its small eyes, but did not speak. It may be a French mouse, thought Alice, as she said, Oui est ma chatte. Where is my cat? Which was all the French she could think of. Just then the mouse gave a quick leap out of water, and it seemed in a great fight. Oh, I beg your pardon, cried Alice. I quite forgot you don't like cats. Not like cats, cried the Not like cats, cried the mouse in a shrill, harsh voice. Would you like cats if you were me? And I guess not, said Alice. But please don't get mad. And I wish I could show you our cat, Dina. I'm sure you'd like cats if you could see her. She's such a dear thing. She sits and purrs by the fire, and licks her paws and washes her face. And she is such a nice, soft thing. And she's really good at catching mice. Oh dear, cried Alice. But this time the mouse was in a great fright, and each hair stood on end. We won't talk about her if you don't like it. We talk, cried the mouse, who shook down to the end of his tail. As if I would talk of such a low, mean things as cats. All cats! Hate them! Don't let me near the name again! I won't, said Alice, in great haste to change the theme. Are you fond of dogs? The mouse did not speak, so Alice went on. There is such a nice dog near our house. I should like to show you. A tiny bright dog, if you know. Long, curly brown hair, and it will fetch things when you throw them. It'll sit up and beg for its meat and do all sorts of things. I can't tell you half of them, and it kills all the rats. And, oh dear, cried Alice in a sad tone, I've made it mad again. The mouse swam off from her as fast as it could go, and made quite a stir in the pool as it went. So she called it in a soft voice, Mouse dear, do come back. We won't talk of cats or dogs if you don't like. When the mouse heard this, it turned round and swam back to her, its face quite pale with rage, Alice thought, and said in a low, weak voice, Let us get to shore, and I'll tell you why I hate cats and dogs. It was a high time for her to go. The pool was by this point quite crowded with the birds and the beasts that all slipped into it. Alice led the way, and they all swam to shore. And we reached the end of chapter 2. This PDF file, was brought to you by Rio, Imagination Over Knowledge. And that, I'm afraid, our time has come, and that is all for tonight, chat. Please stay tuned for Chapter 3, and I hope you enjoyed. If you like what you heard today, and you would like to see more, please like, comment, and subscribe, and help the channel grow. And as always, my name is Polymer Excel, and it has been an absolute pleasure. And I hope to see you again in Chapter 3.